I've come to the headquarters of RL360 and talking with the CEO about the news that broke yesterday about this management buyout. I'm intrigued, obviously, first of all, because this is such a big company for the Isle of Man. As soon as we hear about things shifting around, we assume there's trouble behind the scenes. People want to get rid of you, offshore's gone and all that sort of thing. What can you say about that?
Well, actually, it's quite the opposite. The offshore's gone. This whole saga, if that's what it is, started probably a couple of years ago when there were a number of approaches by outside organisations to buy RL360 from its parent company. And some of those offers were more substantial or better put together than others. But Royal London, being a mutual, has a duty to investigate because its duty is to pay money to policyholders. But in the end, none of those offers came to anything. But there was a continuing trend of people saying we're still interested in buying the company. So the management team, we sat down and said, well, we can either sit back and wait for one day somebody to be successful, or we can take matters into our own hands and say, well, if it's possible to buy this company from Royal London, why don't we see if we can buy it? And well, you're absolutely right. We don't have that sort of money in our pockets. So we basically went into the City of London and talked to people who we knew were interested in this type of thing to see if they'd back us. And we eventually settled on a company called Vitruvian, a private equity firm in London, FCA authorised, very well known in the city. And they provided the backing. So the core backing comes from Vitruvian, equity backing. The management are obviously committed, not just emotionally, but financially to make the whole deal work. But we also secured capital backing from Munich Re, a financial reinsurance agreement, which will help fund a new business programme. The point of that being is we can continue to grow at our current, if not a greater pace than we have been doing. So there are no constraints on growing the business. That's crucial.
Just in layman's terms, because I don't know business, but all this, going back to my original thing about offshore is disappearing. Isn't this where the squeezes happen, that Royal London don't really want to get involved in that anymore? That's why they wanted you out. And
well, I don't think there's any claim that that was true, actually. No, this all started with a number of people approaching Royal London to buy us. It's true that if you look at the new strategy of the group, as set forward by the new Group Chief Executive, Phil Loney, it's a very UK-centric strategy. But given they're a mutual, and they're now the largest mutual and the most substantial mutual, and they're very much focused of saying we want that mutuality to matter to people who need financial support in the United Kingdom, I think it's true that we are not a natural fit. So I have absolutely no problem with the group saying, well, in that environment, if people want to pay a good price for a very successful company, it's our duty to policyholders to listen.
But is there still offshore business there? Because we keep hearing again that it's all going onshore almost. This is where it's all heading, and actually, you're being squeezed a lot by compliance and regulation.
No. Actually, it's quite the opposite. And I'm now not just speaking for RL360. I can say this on behalf of all the Isle of Man life companies, many of whom are very successful. The market did have a tough time in the United Kingdom, that's true. And post-2008, there was a bit of a hiatus, as you'd expect, but not just life companies suffered that issue, all sorts of institutions. Since then, however, the international side of the market has been growing quite substantially. And although the UK market did struggle, actually post-RDR, new regulation in Britain that came through at the beginning of this year, actually a number of the Isle of Man companies, not just ourselves, have actually shown that they can do quite well and thrive. So offshore, I would say, if you want to go look, we prefer international financial services island now rather than offshore island, is actually showing, I think we're at the very beginning of a huge growth in our business sector if you go and how we deal in the developing world of Middle East, Africa, Asia.
Because, you're a big player here. What, 200 odd people on the Isle of Man, is that right?
Yes, we're not the biggest, but we're certainly a good-sized player. One of our differences is not whether we're the biggest or not, but actually, unlike many of the other companies, we're completely holistic in the sense that everything's on the island. All management decisions, product development, sales, marketing, IT, actuarial, finance teams, customer service. I probably left somebody out, but virtually everybody's in one building on the Isle of Man. We're a genuinely sort of true through and through Isle of Man company. All the management decisions are made here, and that sets us apart from some others.
So jobs are safe?
I can say with absolute conviction and commitment, not one job is under threat as a result of this transaction. In fact, quite the opposite. We have been holding back in recruitment because it was difficult to recruit until you knew, you could tell people what the structure was. But now, as of yesterday, we've actually pressed the button on jobs we want to recruit going ahead.
And you'll have a big printing bill.
Yes,
branding?
although, well, yes, I mean, we will. We had a big printing bill in 2009.
You have changed your name a few times.
Yeah,
yes.
we're quite expert at it. But the truth is that the agreement with Royal London is a very sensible one. It allows for a managed disconnect. So some things have to be changed very quickly, like the website front pages. Some things only have to be changed when they run out, like an existing brochure, we just change when it runs out. So Royal London have been very sensible about it, and so nobody's going to make us sort of spend hundreds of thousands of pounds overnight. So that reduces the bill and it makes it manageable. Clearly our flag on the flagpole will have to go, and various other names on doors, but certainly the big printing bills and stuff we can control.
So, I mean, just finally, this time next year if I spoke to you, where do you think you'll be?
I think we'll be in at least one more Asian country with proper regulated representation. I think we will be exploring other countries. I think we will have continued our growth pattern, which is year on year 25%. I think we will have some extra staff on the island coping with that upsurge in business. But actually one of the things is that I don't think much will change. All we're really changing is the name, because we're a completely self-contained business. Everything we've been doing for the last 5 years, if you like that is going to carry on. And that's one of the big pluses of this deal. It's not a deal that says we have to change anything. You know, Vitruvian have backed us because they like what they see and they want us to keep doing it, not because they want us to change anything.